So something I've not really mentioned on this channel much is I've been keeping fish. Well, there's been fish in my house since I was a little kid. I can remember little coolie loach sort of slithering around in my parents' fish tank when I was like literally a tiny child. And I've been keeping fish in one way or another, whether caught from the river as a kid or giant red-tailed catfish, tiger shovelnose, all sorts of things since I was a child. My first working job was within the fish trade, tropical fish shop. I went to work for a tropical fish and marine fish and koi carp importer after that. Fish keeping was a huge, massive part of my life, certainly in my younger days. I've always had a fish tank until we moved house about 1.5 years ago. And we never bothered to set one up. But a friend of mine's recently given us 2 or 3 old, well not old actually, this one's almost brand new, small fish tanks that were discarded. So I set this one up. Kyle gave me some plant cuttings and I thought, well, while we're in Mexico, I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on for, you know, the whole 2 weeks, 24 hours. The Java moss and the other plants, they'll get growing and then I'll get some fish. Goodness gracious me, what a mistake. I just came back to an algae-filled cube. So on the way back from work, I literally just stopped at the nearest fish shop and brought myself some different algae eaters. And I'm going to go through them now with you, and I'll tell you which ones out of all of them were the best ones, as well as a couple of pitfalls. But for sure, it's been interesting watching all these different things eat the algae, and you can see the ones that have got OCD methodically clearing it away, and the others that maybe just have a nibble because I haven't fed them anything for a week. I've let these fish feed upon the natural food, the algae, and the sort of the organic layer, the slime layer, the bacterial coating that lives on everything underwater. And it's been really interesting to see how they go, as well as a couple of, I say, misfortunes. So I'm going to talk you through them now. But whether you'll see much more fish keeping on the channel, it's going to be little snippets on the vlogs, I'm sure. But my days where my bedroom was full of tanks, up to 6 2x2 tanks, I was looking after 10-foot fish tanks at work and huge pacu, zebra shovelnose, if you know what they are. We had some really rare stuff. So the shop I actually worked in, Troppy Fish, back in the day, we had the first ever baby red-tailed catfish brought into the UK, and we had one of the first 2 zebra shovelnose catfish that ever came to the UK, as well as all kinds of things such as tiger fish, garpike, all the amazing, weird and wonderful stuff that we kept there. Enjoy the rest of this algae eating video, and I'll see you in the next video. So this is what we came back to. All I did was clean the algae from the front 2 panels, and I changed half a bucket of water change and sucked up as much of the sort of blanket wig filamentous algae as I could, and then it was ready to add algae eaters. Just 2 days in to this 2-week cycle, this video of the 2-week record of the algae vanishing. Keep your eye on the left-hand pane of glass, as well as the rocks and the leaves of the plants, and just see over the 2 weeks how it starts to change and reduce. So most of the algae eaters were added in week 1, but there's also some lampreys and some guppies that were added after week 1. The lampreys, not for their algae eating, purely because Jackie finds them sort of subtly really attractive. Plankton feeders really, nibble on algae maybe, but they're not really algae eaters. Endless guppies, brilliant nano aquarium fish. They don't get very large, highly active, very pretty, no problem at all, and they do gnaw away at the algae, especially on the leaves more than anything else. Not brilliant, and they're not going to clear your algae-fied tank, but they're definitely helping for sure. There's around 30 or 40 species of siphodon goby. They're a stream fish, a sort of streams where you've got the algae covered rocks in the bottom and probably not a lot of aquatic vegetation. Look at this guy go. They sure do help nibble away at the algae on the rocks, the glass panes and the leaves of the plants. Some of them are intensely beautiful, like neon gobies. They really have a beautiful neon stripe. But amongst the species, very friendly, very easygoing, really interesting and lovable sort of nano fish tanks, fish tank inhabitants, and they don't grow very big at all, a couple of inches max. So very beautiful, definitely busy algae eaters. Hillstream loach, brilliant things. Much like the siphodon gobies, a fish inhabitant of fast-flowing, clear water, algae-covered rocks. Certainly an oxygen-loving fish, and probably really don't want to be kept too hot at all temperature-wise. These ones are tiny, not even an inch long. They are really industrious little things, and for sure they've been really, really busy on the rocks, constantly active, or gnawing off the algae, especially of the rocks, but as well as the glass panes. Definitely a helpful algae to have, without a doubt. OTOCINCLUS catfish, mini ottos, mini ottoplex, whatever you want to call them. I brought these because I know from experience when it comes to cleaning algae off of plant leaves, these are the guys to have. They really are exceptional. However, I talked about stumbling blocks at the beginning of the video. I'll tell you a bit more about these towards the end. But OTOCINCLUS catfish, suckermouth catfish, they are a microplec really, really good, and they will industriously clean the green algae off of the sort of the broader leaves plants in your aquarium, as well as the glass as well. Highly recommend these guys. Tiny nano fish, brilliant, no problems whatsoever. Little tiny cherry shrimp, absolutely brilliant. And these dark blue individuals, I actually really wanted them in this aquarium for sure. They're just so interesting. Can't believe it. I'm saying this, I need my glasses on to really appreciate them. I've got that old. They come in all different colours, as you probably know. If you mix the colours, they won't breed true in the end, and I'm annoyed to find a clear one lurking in the aquarium. They really do clean off the algae, as well as the bacteria and microorganisms living on a surface. That's their job, to just constantly, all day long, graze on detritus, algae, and pretty much anything they can find. Are they going to really clean away the algae off your aquarium? Certainly not as good as some of the other inhabitants. Various snails in this group sold as lava snails, Java snails, rabbit snails. They do eat algae, they eat a variety of things, but when it comes to really being efficient algae eaters to keep your aquarium clean, they just haven't got the right amount of OCD. I watched this guy graze over the algae covered panel, and he left a 2mm strip, zigzagging as he goes, not even clearing it down to the glass. He was eating the algae, but he certainly wasn't as efficient as this guy here, the number one on the list. NERITE snails, absolutely number one. If you want green algae clearing off the rocks and especially the glass panels in your aquarium, these are the guys to get. Now, they won't breed in your aquarium, which is good and bad. They won't breed at all because this is a brackish water snail really. It can live in salt water, fresh water, brackish water, like most or many brackish water animals do. So they can't breed because they need salt water to breed in. They will survive a long time in fresh water, but we'll talk about that more at the end. NERITE snails, they have OCD when it comes to algae eating. They will clear the whole width of their body, the whole width of their foot, methodically, their mouth left, right, as they go. And it's really down to those guys that the left-hand panel here is spotlessly clean. They really are something of another level for cleaning green algae off the surfaces in your aquarium. Exceptionally good, highly recommend them. And out of the bunch of algae eaters I brought to experiment in this small aquarium, this nano tank, the NERITE snail, they come in, some are spotty, some are stripy, but this family of snails, they have the edge. Absolutely superb. Tick the box, they should be paid twice as much as the rest. Okay, so the only problems I had, and it is a problem to look out for when you're buying specifically algae eating fish, is are they getting fed in the fish shop? These OTOCINCLUS, when I got them home, I realised they were completely emaciated. Like many fish shop fish, the algae eaters here, they were kept in amongst shoaling fish, which were of course getting all the food. They'd long since eaten the algae from the fish shop aquariums and they weren't getting target fed on cucumber or maybe algae wafers, something to supplement their diet once they'd eaten the algae. Both OTOCINCLUS perished within 3 or 4 days. They never had enough strength to feed and they pretty much just lounged around. My fault for not really checking and just trustingly saying, can I have a couple of those please? So always bear that in mind. Bear that in mind yourself. When your algae eaters have eaten the algae and done their job in the aquarium, you do need to target feed them and give them food to supplement their diet. If the algae is nearly all gone and it's only slowly growing back here and there, those animals still need feeding. Algae wafers, sunken cucumber, just a couple of good ideas to help those guys out. Like and subscribe. I hope you like this somewhat different video and I hope it gives some of you a bit of food for thought and a bit of help.